Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are completely rethinking economics. It's so easy to just get caught up in stock market tickers and complex math models, right? But looking closely at our source material today, we find a much deeper truth. Economics isn't really about money. At its absolute core, it is the ultimate study of human choices. It's about decision-making and the very real mechanics of your everyday life. Think about your own life for a second. How exactly do you satisfy infinite wants with limited resources? Because, let's be honest, we all want more. A better house, more free time, better healthcare, the works. But the resources to actually get those things, your time, raw materials, labor, are strictly limited. This is the fundamental human dilemma, and it's the exact puzzle that economics aims to solve. So here is our roadmap for today. 1. The problem of scarcity. 2. Both science and art. 3. The scope of economics. And 4. Why economics actually matters to you. Let's get right into it. Starting with Section 1. The problem of scarcity. The core human dilemma.
Now, the formal definition of economics is actually super fascinating, mainly because of what it purposefully leaves out. It's defined as a social science concerned with allocating limited resources to alternative productive uses, all to derive maximum satisfaction. Did you catch what's missing there? The word money. It doesn't mention money at all. It's entirely about making incredibly difficult choices to get the absolute most out of what little we have.
And these vital allocation decisions, they aren't just happening in some boardroom on Wall Street. They're being made constantly. Individuals are deciding what to buy, households are balancing their budgets, firms are planning production, and governments are distributing resources. Every single day, at literally every level of society, we are all actively practicing economics.
Moving right along to Section 2, both science and art. This is a truly fascinating duality.
On the scientific side, economists absolutely act like natural scientists, even if, you rarely see them walking around in lab coats. They rely incredibly heavily on empirical analysis, gathering hard data to test their hypotheses. They build these massive, complex models to forecast trends like inflation and GDP growth, and they even run controlled behavioral experiments just to see exactly how humans react under pressure.
But if you flip the coin, economics is equally an art form. It's inherently messy purely because it deals with humans, and you just can't plug people into a simple algorithm. Crafting effective policy requires immense creativity, intuition, and a really deep understanding of social and political contexts. A seasoned economist relies heavily on historical context to actually make the right call.
The absolutely crucial point here is the contrast between the two. We've got this rigid empirical methodology of predicting economic trends, and it's balanced perfectly against the fluid, intuitive art of interpreting complex human behaviors. It's the science of methodology paired right alongside the art of application. Because ultimately, an experienced economist has to read between the lines. They need to recognize hidden patterns, and honestly, perhaps most importantly, they have to understand the blind spots hidden within the data itself. Because a theoretical model, well, it's only ever as good as the human judgment behind it.
All right, on to Section 3, the scope of economics, looking at things from completely different vantage points.
The sheer scope of this field is massive. We're talking about everything from the quirky, unpredictable inner workings of human psychology all the way up to these incredibly complex networks of global trade. And it broadly branches out into 5 distinct areas of study. Each of these fields serves a highly specific purpose. They aren't competing theories fighting for dominance. Rather, they address completely different levels of economic activity, literally giving us the tools to understand the world from multiple vantage points.
Think of the 2 biggest pillars, kind of like a zoom lens on a camera. Microeconomics zooms all the way in on the individual. It asks questions like, how does the household budget? Or how does a company price a brand new product? Macroeconomics, on the other hand, zooms all the way out to study the entire machine. It looks at national output, overall investment, and general price levels to manage the stability and growth of the entire system. The other branches act as highly specialized tools. Behavioral economics uses psychology to study how our cognitive shortcuts actually drive our decisions. Because, let's face it, humans are rarely completely rational calculators, right? Meanwhile, development economics tackles improving living standards in low-income nations, and international economics analyzes the massive, tangled complexities of global trade and exchange rates.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 4, Why Economics Matters, the real-world impact on your daily life.
Economic principles aren't just dusty academic theories. They provide a very tangible framework to improve real-world outcomes. Whether it's a government formulating policies to fight unemployment, a private enterprise allocating its resources more efficiently, or simply analyzing market dynamics to predict price changes, economics provides the toolkit to handle it all.
Whether you're a business planning a 5-year strategy, a consumer trying to make an informed choice at the grocery store, or a policymaker actively fighting inflation, these principles are the invisible hands guiding those decisions. It gives us a logical, structured framework to evaluate complex trade-offs. And in our increasingly interconnected world, understanding these determinants is absolutely critical. Honestly, it's the only way we can effectively navigate the complexities of globalization, manage international capital flows, and promote truly sustainable development across the globe. We have to understand the system if we ever want to improve it.
So I'll leave you with this. You now know that economics is so much more than just money or abstract math. It's literally the art and science of decision-making. Knowing the mechanics behind how we allocate scarce resources, how are you going to use this framework to optimize the choices in your own life? Next time you have to make a tough call, remember, you aren't just guessing, you are practicing economics. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the choices around you.